Welcome to Motivational Humanity. You are not alone. You finally close your laptop. The workday is over. You tell yourself, tonight will be different. Tonight, you will cook a real meal, call your mother back, maybe even read that book collecting dust on your nightstand. But then you sit down on the couch and something happens. An invisible hand presses you into the cushions. The remote is right there. Your phone is right there. And somehow, 1 hour becomes 4. And the meal never got made, the call never got placed, and the book sits exactly where it always sits. You don't feel rested. You feel emptier than when you started. The world has a word for people like you. Lazy, undisciplined, unmotivated. Scroll past enough social media and you'll find the fix. Cold showers, 5 a.m. alarm clocks, vision boards, gratitude journals. As if the problem is simply that you haven't tried hard enough. But what if the problem has nothing to do with effort? What if something inside your nervous system, something biological, measurable, and real, has quietly reached its breaking point? In this video, we're going to name what is actually happening to you, trace it back to its roots in neuroscience and psychology, and then give you a 3-stage path that doesn't ask you to perform a miracle. It asks you to survive, and then, slowly, to return. What if something inside your nervous system, something biological, measurable, and real, has quietly reached its breaking point? Let's start by calling this thing what it actually is. In psychology, the state you're living in has a name: existential exhaustion. It is not sadness, exactly. It is not depression in the classic sense, though it can lead there. It is something more quiet and more pervasive. A deep, cellular-level tiredness that touches not just your body, but your sense of meaning. Here's a metaphor that might land close to home. Think of yourself as a smartphone. From the outside, the screen looks fine. You're functional. You show up. But deep in the background, dozens of silent applications are running at full power, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. One app is calculating whether you are enough at your job. One app is replaying a comment someone made 3 weeks ago. One app is quietly bracing for the next disappointment. One app is managing the grief you never fully processed. One app is rehearsing conversations you might need to have. One app is comparing your life to every life you scroll past before bed. You haven't opened a single one of those apps intentionally. They just run. And they drain your battery to 0 before you've even gotten out of bed. This is why you can spend an entire Sunday lying still and wake up Monday, feeling as though you ran a half marathon in your sleep. Here's the first thing science wants you to understand. Your brain was never built for the world you are currently living in. Our ancestors made perhaps a few hundred meaningful decisions a day. Where to find food, which path was safe, when to rest. Research from Cornell University estimates that the average adult today makes approximately 35,000 micro-decisions every single day. Which email to answer first, whether to like someone's post, what to eat, what to wear, which route to take, whether that message had an edge to it, whether you should bring it up or let it go. The part of your brain responsible for all of this, the prefrontal cortex, is the most evolutionarily recent structure we have. It is extraordinary, and it has an absolute upper limit. When that limit is reached, neuroscientists call it decision fatigue. And what happens during decision fatigue is not simply that decisions become harder. What happens is that the brain begins to either go on strike, choosing nothing, doing nothing, or begins to grab whatever requires the least effort, regardless of whether it serves you. This is why, by 9 p.m., a question as simple as, "What do you want for dinner?" can feel like someone is asking you to choose between 2 foreign policies. Your brain has already used its daily quota. It is running on fumes, and it will not apologize for that. You are not undisciplined. You are depleted. But there is a second layer to this, and it is perhaps the most disorienting part. Psychologists call it anhedonia, the reduced capacity to feel pleasure in things that once brought you joy. It is not exactly sadness. It is not crying on the bathroom floor. It is something colder and more confusing than that. It is blankness. Think back to something that used to genuinely excite you. Maybe it was a new film by your favorite director. Maybe it was the first night of a long-planned trip. Maybe it was simply a message from a particular person that made your heart shift a little. Now you look at those same things and nothing moves. You know, intellectually, that you should feel something. The information is there. This is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be exciting. But the feeling doesn't arrive. Your dopamine system, the reward circuitry of your brain, has been overstimulated for so long that it has effectively reduced its own sensitivity to protect itself. It's a biological adaptation, but it leaves you feeling like a ghost in your own life. A woman in her 40s described it this way in a therapy session documented in a clinical psychology journal. I used to love Saturday mornings. Now I get to Saturday morning and I don't even know what I'm supposed to feel about it. A man in his 30s said he had watched the same 3 television series on repeat for 2 years because starting something new required an emotional investment he simply did not have. If that resonates, if you know exactly what these people mean, you are not broken. You are experiencing a predictable neurological consequence of sustained, unrelieved stress. Your brain is protecting you the only way it knows how. Your dopamine system has been overstimulated for so long that it has reduced its own sensitivity to protect itself. It's a biological adaptation, but it leaves you feeling like a ghost in your own life. And from that place of muted feeling, certain behaviors emerge. Behaviors that look, from the outside, like weakness or avoidance, but from the inside, and in the language of psychology, are something much more specific. They are unconscious defense mechanisms. They are your nervous system searching for safety. When your system is overloaded by unpredictability, it begins to crave the one thing overloaded systems always crave: certainty. You know how the old sitcom ends. You've seen every episode. There will be no surprises, no emotional demands, no plot twist that catches you off guard at 11 p.m. when you have nothing left in reserve. That is not laziness. That is your nervous system choosing a controlled environment because the real environment has stopped feeling safe. The same is true for doom scrolling. You do not scroll because you enjoy it. You scroll because the short, rapid, low-stakes content asks almost nothing of you emotionally, while still creating just enough stimulation to keep the deeper silence. The silence you are genuinely afraid of, at bay. You are not avoiding your life because you don't care about it. You are avoiding it because caring costs something right now, and you are temporarily insolvent. Now, let's talk about the part of this that can quietly destroy your closest relationships. People who are living with existential exhaustion often find themselves caught in what we might call the connection paradox. You desperately need to feel seen and understood, and at the exact same time, the prospect of actually connecting with another human being feels utterly unbearable. You see the message. You can read it. Your friend, your sister, your colleague. Hey, haven't heard from you in a while. Doing okay? Want to grab lunch? And you feel not warmth, not relief. You feel a kind of quiet dread because your mind immediately begins calculating the cost. If I go, I have to get ready. I have to drive. I have to be present and articulate and interested, and I have to smile at the right moments and ask about her kids or his project or their renovation, and I have to make it look effortless because explaining how I actually feel would require far more energy than I have and would probably alarm her, and then I would spend the rest of the evening managing her worry about me. And so you leave the message on read. Or you respond 3 days later with something deliberately vague and non-committal. And the guilt arrives almost immediately because you love this person. You are not indifferent to them. You simply have nothing left to give right now, and giving nothing feels like the only honest option. Over time, this pattern isolates you. And isolation, the research is very clear on this, deepens every symptom we've already named. It feeds the emptiness. It confirms the story your exhausted brain tells itself, that you are too much trouble, that it is easier for everyone if you disappear a little. That story is not true, but it is very persuasive when you are running on empty. And here is the cruelest part of all. Because you still have rent to pay and a job to show up to and people counting on you, you have become extraordinarily skilled at something that is costing you everything: performing. You walk into the office. You greet people by name. You ask about the weekend. You meet your deadlines. You probably even listen to someone else's problems over lunch and offer the kind of thoughtful, grounded advice that makes people say, I don't know how you do it. You do it because you have no choice, because the performance is load-bearing, because if you stop, something structural gives way. But when you get home and the door closes behind you, the face drops, not gradually, immediately, like a mask slipping from a wall. Your whole body changes. The weight that you've been holding in your posture, your expression, your voice, it collapses, and you with it. A clinical psychologist once described this phenomenon in an essay on high-functioning burnout. The tragedy, she wrote, is that the people most in need of support are precisely the ones who have made themselves hardest to help. No one offers a life jacket to someone who appears to be swimming beautifully. You are swimming beautifully, and you are drowning. No one offers a life jacket to someone who appears to be swimming beautifully. You are swimming beautifully, and you are drowning. So, what do you do? Not the toxic positivity answer. Not the, have you tried journaling answer? The real answer, rooted in what psychology and neuroscience actually know about recovering a depleted nervous system. There are 3 stages, and none of them will ask you to be extraordinary. The psychologist Carl Jung wrote extensively about the persona, the social mask we construct to navigate the demands of the world. It is not inherently harmful. We all wear one. The problem arises when the gap between the persona and the interior truth becomes so wide that maintaining it requires more energy than the person has available. Every "I'm fine" spoken through genuine suffering. Every cheerful emoji sent while sitting in a dark room. Every performance of competence and warmth and togetherness. It all has a metabolic cost. Your nervous system pays it in real time. The first step toward recovery is not healing. It is honest accounting. You do not have to explain yourself to everyone, but you can, and perhaps must, give yourself permission to stop pretending. This does not mean disappearing without warning. It means setting a boundary that is honest and human. Send a message to the people closest to you. Something like this: my energy is genuinely very low right now, and I need to step back from social life for a little while. This has nothing to do with you. I just need some space to recover. That honesty removes the performance pressure. It is not dramatic. It is accurate. After 8 p.m, turn your phone to Do Not Disturb. You are not the emergency services. You are not obligated to be available to the entire world, around the clock, regardless of your internal state. The world will continue without your immediate response. Right now, your only job is not to collapse entirely. If the prefrontal cortex is the system that is overloaded, then the solution is to reduce the demands placed on it, dramatically, temporarily, and without apology. There is a reason that certain high-performing individuals, executives, surgeons, writers at the height of their creative output, have historically simplified the low-stakes decisions of their daily lives to near zero. The goal is not to become robotic. The goal is to protect cognitive capacity for the things that actually require it. For you, right now, this might look like 3 rotating outfits, 1 simple weekly meal structure, the same route to work every day, the same morning sequence in the same order. Not because you lack imagination, but because a system that does not require constant decisions is a system that frees up just enough mental space to breathe. When your nervous system stops having to process dozens of small variables, something very specific happens. It interprets that reduction in chaos as safety. And when the system feels safe, it stops running in emergency mode. The tight band around your chest loosens, fractionally, but really. Your heart rate drops a beat or 2. The alarm quiets, slightly. That is where recovery begins, not in a grand gesture, but in the radical decision to ask less of yourself until you have more to give. This is the stage that most people miss entirely because it requires confronting a very uncomfortable truth about what they have been calling rest. Lying in bed for 4 hours, scrolling short-form video content is not rest. Your body is horizontal, yes, but your visual cortex is processing rapid imagery. Your dopamine system is receiving a continuous stream of small spikes followed by small crashes. Your nervous system is not recovering. It is running a low-grade, high-stimulation marathon while you convince yourself you are relaxing. Neuroscientist Andrew Huberman at Stanford has written and spoken extensively about what he calls non-sleep deep rest. NSDR, sometimes described more traditionally as yoga nidra. The principle is this: genuine biological rest requires the interruption of sensory input, not merely the cessation of physical movement. In practice, this looks extremely boring. That is the point. Put your phone in another room, lie flat, close your eyes. No music, no ambient sound, no guided meditation, no content of any kind. Simply exist horizontally for 15 to 20 minutes. Your brain will protest immediately. It will tell you this is a waste of time, that you are doing nothing, that you should be checking something, doing something, consuming something. Let it protest. Do not move. If you can stay in that discomfort for 5 full minutes, something measurable begins to shift. Your sympathetic nervous system, the system responsible for fight or flight, begins to deactivate. Your parasympathetic system, the system responsible for rest, digestion, and cellular repair, takes over. Your blood pressure drops. Your breathing slows. Your body begins the actual work of recovering from sustained stress. That is what rest looks like. It is not comfortable at first, but it is what works. Being human is one of the most demanding things in the universe. There is no instruction manual. No one pulls you aside in early adulthood and explains that the modern world is producing levels of neurological load that our physiology has never encountered before, and that it is completely reasonable, expected even, to find that load crushing sometimes. If you are in a season right now where getting out of bed is a negotiation, where answering an email feels like a physical task, where joy is something you remember rather than something you feel, I want you to hear this. The fact that you are still here, still showing up in whatever broken and imperfect way you can manage, is not a small thing. It is, in fact, enormous. Do not measure yourself against people at their peak. Measure yourself against the version of you who wanted to stop yesterday and somehow didn't. That is the comparison that matters. Consider winter, not as a metaphor for despair, but as an ecological fact. Every deciduous tree on Earth loses its leaves in winter. From the outside, it looks dead. It looks like something is wrong. But nothing is wrong. The root system is pulling inward, conserving, recovering, storing what it will need for spring. The tree is not failing. It is doing exactly what it is supposed to do in winter. You are in your winter. Your roots are still alive. You are allowed to run on low power mode. You are allowed to do 50% of what you normally do and call that enough. You are allowed to be quiet, to be slow, to be unavailable, to be imperfect, to be exhausted without explanation or apology. Sometimes the most self-compassionate thing you can do in a day is simply drink a glass of water, breathe slowly for 1 minute, and let yourself off the hook for everything else. Spring comes, battery recharges, winter passes, but you have to still be here to see it. And right now, still being here is enough. You are in your winter. Your roots are still alive. If something in this video landed close to the truth of where you are, leave a comment below. It can be one word. It can be a single dot. It simply lets the rest of us know that you are here and that no one is walking through this winter alone. I am reclaiming my peace. Motivation humanity. If this video spoke to you, please share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe to Motivational Humanity and turn on notifications so you never miss our next deep dive into the psychology of emotional healing. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. You are doing better than you think.